You know, when you see a massive new bridge or a highway stretching for miles, it's easy to just marvel at the engineering, right? But behind every single one of those incredible feats, there's a human story. It's a story about the communities and the lives that are changed, sometimes forever. And that's the story we're diving into today.
It really makes you ask, what is the true cost of progress? Because, let's be real, it's not just measured in tons of concrete and steel. It's measured in homes, in livelihoods, and in the history of the land itself.
And I mean, look at this contrast. It is so stark. On one side, you've got this magnificent symbol of national pride, this incredible connection. And on the other, well, that's the reality of the land it's built on. Land that not too long ago was someone's neighborhood, maybe their farm, their entire world.
This brings us right to our first big idea, this inherent tension between progress and the price that comes with it.
It's a simple, unavoidable fact. To build something new, you often have to clear away something that's already there. And that something is very often someone's home. This is the core conflict that project planners have to navigate. How do you balance the needs of the many with the rights of the few?
So how do modern projects even begin to tackle this? It's not about just pushing people out of the way anymore. The goal now is detailed, really careful social planning. Okay, let's dive into what that actually looks like.
The whole thing usually starts with a formal document called a Land Acquisition Plan, or LAP. You could think of it as the official rulebook. It's the legal framework that lets a government get private land for a public good, spelling out exactly how that land is going to change hands.
But, you know, getting the land is only half the battle. The other half, which is arguably way more important, is the Resettlement Action Plan, or RAP. This is the human part. It's a whole strategy to make sure displaced people don't just get a check, but that their lives and their ability to make a living are fully restored, or ideally, even improved. Of course, getting this right is incredibly complex. It's a huge challenge. And listen, this stuff isn't some last-minute addition they tack on at the end. These social plans are developed right from the get-go, during the concept and planning phases. They are literally baked into the project's DNA from day one. All right, to make all this a bit more real, let's look at a massive, modern example, the Padma Multipurpose Bridge project in Bangladesh. Now, the bridge itself is this enormous undertaking. It was designed to connect the Machua and Janjira sides of the Padma River. And while this thing is a crucial link for the country, it also cuts right through established districts and communities.
And the scale is it's staggering. The project required over 5,800 acres of land. That is an immense footprint. And you have to remember, every single one of those acres represents a potential impact on a person, a family, a life.
So, with a project of this magnitude, how in the world did they handle the human side of things? Let's take a look at how they put that Resettlement Action Plan into practice on the ground. Now, the plan wasn't just one giant monolithic strategy. No, they were smarter than that. They broke it down into 5 distinct pillars. This way they could manage different impacts separately. Everything from creating brand new places for people to live, to handling the effects of the main bridge, the roads leading to it, and even the construction yards.
And the amount of money we're talking about here for resettlement was huge. By the end of 2019, over 17,000 people were officially recognized as affected. They received a total of over 66 billion Bangladeshi Taka. That's hundreds of millions of US dollars. And this wasn't just for land, it covered homes, businesses, and farmland that was lost.
But, you know, a successful plan is about so much more than just money. It's about really deeply understanding the people you're affecting. And that process has to start by listening and learning, by establishing what's called a socioeconomic baseline. Because if you get this wrong, you risk building resettlement sites nobody wants or offering job training for skills nobody needs. And this is where the data gets really, really interesting. Planners discovered that a staggering 89% of the affected population was rural. Now think about that. That one fact is so crucial because a rural community has completely different economic structures and social norms compared to an urban one. You absolutely can't use a one-size-fits-all approach. The studies also dug into economic vulnerability. They found that 12% of the people on the Janjira side lived under the hardcore poverty line, compared to just 7.5% on the Mawa side. This kind of super detailed data is what helps planners target support to the people who need it the most. And they didn't just stop at economics. The analysis went even deeper. The baseline study created this social snapshot, and it revealed things like women having very limited leadership roles, and that their ability to move around was often restricted. Understanding these subtle social dynamics is absolutely crucial if you want to design resettling programs that are actually fair and effective for everyone. And really, the goal of all this data gathering is captured right here in the project's own objective, to incorporate the community's views, to minimize the bad stuff, and maximize the good stuff. It's such a simple but powerful idea, building it with them, not just for them.
Okay, so let's zoom back out for a minute. What does a case study like this really teach us about the human side of building our future? What this all comes down to, I think, is a fundamental shift in how we have to look at these projects. A mega project can't just be an engineering marvel anymore. To be truly successful today, it also has to be a marvel of social responsibility. It has to be about building with people, not just building for them. And that leaves us with a final, really important question to think about. As we continue to dream bigger and build bolder, how do we make sure that the world we're creating is one that truly includes and cares for everyone, especially for the people who are asked to make way for that progress?